Hit the share. Hey, y'all start doing some shares. Oh, is this chicken? Did you get the text message I sent you? Okay. All right. Well, you can call me if you need any problems. I can probably walk you through it. But it should be when you click the link. You really should, but make sure when they say allow access, make sure you allow access so you can like allow them to use your camera and your phone. I mean, and your microphone. Yeah, yo.
I'm walking right behind thee. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. Yeah. I'm just trying to be the best I can. You can call me the troubling man. Matter of fact, I'm from the side of the street. Baby girl, you're calling on me at the time that I feel your presence around me. something that I can't let go. It's your time, everything around me there. I just wanna hold on, but you don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind me. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. I just wanna come correct best I can. Baby, get your foot on my neck. And just before you just leave, baby, I've been trying to tell you I can't breathe. You don't have to find me, baby, baby. I'm walking right behind me. It's so clear to see that you want me free. Damn pressure, baby. Just want
Kris the Critic Relationship Hour with Gina B. Why you are not married. Number one, you ain't all that. I know that's hard for y'all to swallow. I don't look as good as my 22-year-old self. People need to realize that. You just ain't all that. And I get it. I got this master's degree. I went to this school, that school. I worked hard for this job, for this house. And then she over there got that man. And you don't have one. Men are very simple creatures. So, ladies, for you very accomplished ladies, I got some advice for them.
What's that?
I always say it like this. You can write this one down. Be a kitten, not a cat. What does that mean, Kris?
What does that mean?
You ever played with a kitten? It's real friendly. It almost acts like a puppy. And you want to play with it. You want to look at the little kitty. It just makes you feel good. Now, have you ever seen an adult cat? When it feels like it, it might rub against your leg and move away. But is that men like kittens?
Kittens will play with anybody. A cat is particular.
Listen, what did we learn? Men are very simple creatures.
Right.
You can fool us. We want you to laugh at our dumb jokes. So all you super smart women out there, you good-looking women, you see a guy you like, you guys do make it out on a date. He actually pays for the date. When you're actually with that person, the dialogue is happening, the dinner is happening. You say, okay, this might work, this might work. It would help if you act a little blind.
Oh my God, Becky.
I mean, you're going to hear me say that a lot. I mean, be nice to
So
him.
you
hear the worst joke ever. But if you sort of like them, laugh at it. There you go. Hey, it's a lot of married women out there. If we got any married women chiming in.
Look,
if I'm telling a lie,
that one's a fake laugh.
let me know. Right.
What you're saying is that we should cater to the male ego, and that's what's ultimately going to get us married.
I'm first saying recognize that I think some of us, more women than men, look in the mirror. You ever seen a little lion look in the mirror and see somebody real big? They see somebody a little more fine than what they are. And I'm not calling anybody ugly, so I'm not here to bash anybody.
Let's look at Middle America, okay? Middle America is not attractive.
They're not?
Middle America is largely married.
Okay, I think we're on the same page then. People sort of, we get stuck to reality shows sometime and think we're supposed to have, I got a degree in a house, so I'm supposed to have Idris Elba or his twin.
Well, I mean, if you notice, okay, so you remember your friends from high school, right? And you remember how they had all of these qualifications for, if she's going to lock me down, she got to be this, that. She's got to have an ass like that.
That's all we really looked at. Stop right there. You had me at. That's really, what are men? Simple creatures. We want to be fed. We want you to laugh at us, give us some, and that's it.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I pay.
Happy Tuesday, people. Welcome to the Kris and Gina Relationship Show. Fight Less, Love More is on the docket for tonight.
I love it.
Day 323 out of 366.
And what day is it?
The year is almost over. It is day 323. And just for Gina B, we'll knock it out of the way before we introduce our guest. It is National Play Monopoly Day. It's a thing.
That's not exciting.
It's a thing. It's National Carbonated Beverage with Caffeine Day. There's got to be some caffeine
I'm so
here somewhere.
inspired. There's got to be a day that I like.
It's National Entrepreneurs Day.
Okay,
and
I like
you
that.
are an entrepreneur.
I like that one.
She's an entrepreneur.
Now let's draw the distinction. There are people out here who think they're entrepreneurs.
They are. They just don't have a serious business model.
Entrepreneurs are different than entrepreneurs. I'm just saying. Okay,
this is a love show. It's National Integration Day. I don't know if we should celebrate it or
National
not.
What?
Integration. We integrate everything.
Okay, I'm just curious.
It's World Toilet Day.
What does that mean?
Toilet.
Are we celebrating the use of toilets?
I don't know, but toilets had to be one of the greatest inventions ever. I think we all can agree. Right up there with the wheel and sliced bread.
The way you're not squatting over a hole.
Exactly. And
Which they still do in third world countries.
For those of you not having your best day, it's National Have a Bad Day Day.
I don't want to have a bad day.
It is what it is. Let me introduce our guest. First, to my left, your right, my regular partner in crime, the beautiful, the brilliant Gina B.
And the crowd goes wild. Hi.
And these next two guests first, this handsome gentleman to my right, your left, one of Mendel Monarch's own, Mr. Dewan. I won't give you a government last name. That's on you, but thank you for joining us.
They're looking for him.
And straight from an undisclosed, secret, looks like tropical destination, she's no stranger. The beautiful, the entertaining Chicken. Chicken, are you there?
She's nicking.
Yes, I'm here. Yes,
How you doing?
I'm here.
Can we say where you're at?
Excellent.
Where you at,
that's
Chicken?
fine.
Where are you at?
I'm in Cabo, St. Lucas.
Look at you.
Wow.
Cabo San Lucas,
Wow.
yay.
We're in Chicago.
Celebrating my birthday.
Hey, happy birthday. I'm a little
I feel
hoarse,
like
but I
your
was
birthday's been going on for a while.
I told her that earlier. I was like,
Yeah.
seems like your birthday's been like a month. I didn't even know when we started celebrating.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of notes. I sort of just read them all.
Oh, you read all of your notes?
However, the reason for this show, anyone watching, you guys have seen a lot of TikTok videos, gender war. You've seen some of my social media posts that start World War II and 3 and 4. We're going to talk about the dating gender war issues that men and women have.
See,
And we got two single folks. They're dating, but folks are here.
before we jump in, can we just stop talking about wars?
I'm not Gina B. Gina B is, I love your peacefulness in you. But
We're never going to get this done warring.
I am a big believer. To solve a problem, you must first identify the problem.
Okay, but that doesn't mean there's a war.
Okay. Gender disagreements.
Well, I mean, let's figure them out so that we can be good partners to one another.
That's
It's
cool.
not about like, well, you do this and you do that, and if you didn't do this, then I wouldn't do that.
This is going to be a light and fun show.
Yeah, light
so I'm
and
even drinking
fun
light liquor
and
for this show.
positive.
I'm drinking
people.
dark liquor.
It's going to be positive.
Everybody's got to have a positive
Well,
attitude.
Let's make no mistake. Folks watching, if you got something to say and you just want to get off your chest, I'll put a positive spin on it. Now, folks
Please
up here,
put a positive spin on it.
folks up here will be more positive.
Yeah, we're going to be more positive because guess what? It takes positivity to have a positive relationship. You yourself have to approach things
That's true.
with a positive attitude.
That is true.
Have you ever known a person who was super bitter to get into a good relationship that
No.
lasts? No.
But everyone who's gotten into a good relationship, who's had bad relationships, has sort of figured it out.
Right, but that requires introspection and then coming out on the other side with an opportunity.
I feel like
as
you're being negative
opposed
to me right now.
I'm not being. Well,
I started off in such a
trying
happy
to slam
mood.
down the warring theory. Anyway,
I just set the rules.
questions. We got
No one
questions.
disobeys the rules when the rules are set.
Okay.
So I want to throw one out to our guest first. Gina B has the
I've
next.
got tons.
50. That's one. I only got one.
Okay.
I have no notes.
Okay. Well,
I got
then
one
just
question.
Then give the question.
I saw this today, and we'll let the lady go first. This is something common that I see men and women post. I've been out of the game for a while, 16 years. Gina B is out of the game. You two are in the game, so that's where you get the question. So my question is, I saw a post. It says, let's think of positive solutions to this.
Positive.
The dating pool is full of
They've been saying that for a while.
urine, but it's one that comes up a lot.
Yeah, that's what people say.
So, let's just, Chicken, you can go first. Well, why do people say that? And Then let's all collectively talk about how can, in Gina B's words, change our view to a more positive view. Because a lot of what happens in life is how we approach it.
True.
So, chicken. Have you heard people say that? And what does that mean exactly?
I really don't know what that means. I've heard it before, but it seems as though a lot of people have had some bad experiences with dating because people bring their bad experiences into dating. And now you got bad mixed with bad. And then you got people that are going through whatever it is they're going through. And then they bring that toxicity, if that's toxicity. They bring that into the relationship. And I think people become jaded. And so now, everybody's looking at each other with a side eye because, so many men have cheated and so many women have lied. And now everybody's like, not really putting forth their best effort because it's like, yeah, everybody cheat or everybody lie. And that's not the case.
Great point. Everybody's carrying around a lot of baggage. I agree. You want to add to that?
No, she hit it on the head. I think a lot of people have baggage. I think there's a lot of people that have trauma.
Yeah.
That they're not
unaddressed. Yeah.
That's not being addressed or disclosing to the potential, partner or mate. And that's a big issue because I think a lot of things need to be discussed up front.
Right.
And brought to the forefront of the table so that way you know how to deal with certain situations.
Right.
And try to avoid certain, situations when you're dating. So.
Now, when you all are dating, how much upfrontness do you do? I mean, you mentioned you were in a sort of good place dating right now. Mm. What did you do to approach this differently than
the last one?
Potentially, yeah.
I'm just asking. You are free to answer what you want. I'm just asking.
So for me, I got back into dating, and I told you this before, maybe like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Was dating quite a few. Ended up seeing somebody seriously for a little while. That didn't work out, and now I'm in another sort of serious, not sort of, in a serious relationship going on 2 years now, so close to 2 years, about a year and a half. But I think it's just more about communication and being transparent.
Okay, I like that.
I believe in that. I'm one of those that love communication. I love, if we have a problem, being able to talk out the issue right then and there instead of letting it fester.
Yep.
And coming to a solution, like you were saying, try to come up with a solution to resolve the issue or whatever the issue may be, or whatever you think the issue may be.
Right.
And get it out the way, so.
I like it. Gina B, what
you
got on that? Anything?
So, I almost think the water seeks its own level, right?
We'll explain that, yeah.
So
hold on, Gina B always comes up with she drops a gem every now and then. That's why I got here.
I like that
the water, wasn't it?
The water seeks its own level.
It's its own level.
Yeah, it's a science
stolen
reference.
Now, if you
Science
see
reference.
Tomorrow, don't get mad.
No, I won't get mad. But my point is, it's like you will attract what you're exuding, right? Like, so if people, like-minded people will find each other, is my point. So if you feel like the dating pool is full of pee, right?
Yep.
Then you're going to find pee. So it's like if you bring, we're going to go back to the attitude. If you bring a negative attitude to a situation,
right,
then that's the frequency that you're on, right? So you have to be careful what you're putting out there, and that's going to be what you attract.
I agree. I'm just thinking back to my own personal dating development. I can remember. Have you ever had, show of hands, gentlemen? I'm not about to say anything I'm proud about. Have you ever had a woman just walk away from you while you're talking to her?
Yeah.
That's happened to me.
We all have.
What are you talking about?
That's happened to Kris Levy.
I think we all have.
However, it was really me because I sort of walked up, I'm like 14, all excited, and I really didn't have much to say.
Right.
So she sort of looked at me awkwardly. I stumbled over some words and walked away. Now, I could have said, you know what? Women are all mean, blah, blah, blah. But at least back then, I think all of us are more honest with ourselves than when we get older. I should have been prepared. You know what I'm saying?
You said you were 15?
14.
You couldn't have been.
I could have had something. Hey, how you doing? I literally walked up and started stumbling over, your name is Kris. You know what I'm saying? I was listening up.
Stop. There's no way to be prepared.
My point is, I learned from it, right? I could have used that. And I think as we all get older, we have to be mindful. It made me think when Gina B said water seeks its own level. I didn't allow that to damper my view, right? Some of us, by the time we get to be 25, 35, we're like, oh, man, every negative jumps out before the positives. So we're guarded.
Also, if you meet, like I remember meeting people who were so womp womp, and I just didn't, I wasn't interested.
And your eyebrows look like that. They probably just
I wasn't.
You heard
interested.
some little dude just like no.
I'm like,
She hurt your feelings. Yeah.
I mean, why do I want to listen to that? Like in my life, you know what I mean? Like if someone's that negative about everything, then why are we talking right now?
Oh yeah, negative is one thing.
Right.
I'm just saying something I could have done
just
different.
beat down. I don't want to hear all that.
I think the other part to that, as Gina is stating, is that sometimes we need to be real with ourselves and state up front that we're not interested. If you meet someone, as opposed to wasting so much time, you saw the red flags in the beginning. But you find yourself, oh, well, maybe because you've been single for so long, because maybe he got money, or maybe because she got a big ass, or maybe because, they live in a nice house, and you start, making these compromises. But up front, I really don't like them. And it's okay to like what you like. It's okay.
And everyone doesn't like everybody. Like
everybody does not like everybody. And that's okay.
I'll talk about, at the end of the show, I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between men and women. But if you're that cute and you at least said hello back and your cheeks look that nice, most men are going to give up.
That's true.
Just because you said you're not interested.
That is true.
We're not. True. We're programmed not to give up.
I mean, you don't have to give up, but
we're not going to listen.
But if you're espousing, all right, we got questions.
Linda Anderson made a good point.
All right, well, we got questions here. How can you guys identify? Like, how can people identify and break their own patterns that might lead to unhealthy relationships? Like, what?
Wow.
How do you? Well, I mean, it starts with you.
That's like the hardest question.
It is. Let's start with it. We gotta gotta swallow the frog. Right?
Dewan, you're gonna be first up the bat on this.
So repeat the question.
Yeah. Yes.
Chicken, you want to go first, or you want to go second?
Yes, I would love to go first for this one. Because this is something in which that I've been dealing with. I have the ability to gravitate or go towards a provider because that's something in which that I like. And I realized in myself that this year that I can provide for myself. And so while I'm looking for a man that is a provider.
Turn that off.
Are y'all still there?
Yeah, we are. We just got a little.
Is that me?
Yeah.
I'm pouring out my heart here.
I know we are, but we've got feedback.
Go ahead, Chicken. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, I don't hear anything.
Yeah, go for it.
I keep talking?
Yeah, keep talking.
Okay. So I realized within myself, I've had, a couple of bad relationships, not because they were bad, but because I was a common denominator. And so I realized the mistakes or the decisions in which that I made in those relationships are going to affect future decisions. So now I'm like, okay, what is it that I want and how do I move forward? So now when I'm looking at a mate, I'm making sure that I'm reminding myself, hey, you can provide for yourself. So that's not what you're looking for. You're not looking for a provider. And then therefore, when I put that on a back burner, now I can see all his other qualities as opposed to looking first, oh my goodness, can he provide for me? Because I'm like, I can provide for myself. So why is that why is that the most thing? But that's social media. Social media talks about making sure that he could provide, making sure he could pay for stuff, making sure he can do X, Y, and Z. But that's not necessarily what I need. And so that's what's helped me to move forward, to make sure that I'm looking at the right qualities for a mate for me.
Now that's real mature.
But I have a question with that. So I don't think it's just social media. I think that's the way men are raised to be providers.
Yeah.
That's just the norm. And women are, I guess, raised to look for a provider.
Right.
So
yes.
So I think that for me, what you're saying, that is a basic quality for a man. So you need to let him be who he is, even though you may not need him to be a provider.
Right.
Because if you take that away from him, then you're taking away something that because innately I'm a hunter. I'm a serial entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. Been one since 2000. So
good job.
I provide. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those.
Do you think she might have been saying? I guess she didn't want her judgment to be clouded because you can have a provider who's an a-hole,
right?
And I think she wants to look at, some of his other qualities versus what can he buy me or give me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
Yes. And I thought that was mature.
That is mature.
How did you come
because
up?
That's my love language, right?
How did you know?
I don't want.
How did you know you were having an issue with that? Because most of the time, me included, the hardest person to, critique, I always say is the person in the mirror. Right. So I commend you on that.
True.
And what made you start doing that? You just start saying, it can't be all these dudes. It's got to be a little bit of me, or.
Yeah, because I had two great husbands, and I feel like husbands. I was married twice. Like I've been chosen. I'm not the woman that can't get chosen.
You know how to reel them in.
I just can't stay. I just can't stay. I get bored, and I feel like my needs aren't being met because I'm looking. He was a provider. They both were good providers, great men. But in the end, it's not just about being a provider. And so I was able to see that's something I gravitate towards because my love language is gifts. Like I love being treated to gifts. Like that makes me feel loved. That makes me feel wanted. Like gifts and that type of acts of service and that type of stuff. So when I see people doing those things, when men start doing those things, I stop overlooking the other things. And so now oh my goodness, he got me a Louis Vuitton purse. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Oh, he got this. And it's like, oh, hold up, baby. Is he talking to you appropriately? Does he respect your job? Does he respect you, or does he love you? Is it you he likes?
Chicken might be the most honest person that we done had on this show in a while.
Honest female.
Yeah, because we get women come on here lying.
Honest female.
They come on here
no
lying.
No offense to our previous guests, in case you were watching.
I applaud you, Chicken. I applaud you, seriously. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's mature. That's real mature.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
That was good. What else you got, Gina B?
What, another question? You want another one? All right. So
unless you wanted to answer,
there's nothing.
I mean, how can you? Everyone here is over 30, right?
Nobody.
Are we?
How can you recommend? How can you balance your independence and your individuality while still being open to a good relationship?
That would be more for her.
Yeah, I think that's tough. I think that's tough.
That's a woman thing.
That's a woman thing.
For women. Gina B, why don't you tackle this one first?
That was a hard one for me.
You are very independent.
I'm highly independent, and I was raised to be. And I remember before I met my now husband, I had friends who were married, and they would tell me, God, would you just let a guy get in there somewhere? Because I would be like, oh yeah, I need this done, I'm doing it. Or I would need this moved, I'm moving it. Or I would need, no, he offered, but I'm like, I'm good, right? And some of my male friends, I have so many male friends are like, look, you gotta make him feel useful, right? You can't just do, it's great that you do all this stuff, but let him get in there somewhere. And so that was actually really good advice. It was advice from my male friends who were fighting that battle in their dating lives. And so I kind of, I was like, okay, if a guy wants to help me do something, I'm letting him. Or, it was hard though, because I have a tendency to just solve problems. And it's something that I still kind of do. But I still have to, now my husband enjoys it. So now I have to get him off that train where he's
That's
just
hilarious.
He enjoys you solving
You trained him. You trained him.
Solve that problem, so I'm going to let her do it. And I'm just like, sir, I still am going to need you.
Yeah.
To get that done. So, it's a difficult balance because as a woman, if you've been single for a while, you will figure it out, But if you want to make room for someone else, you got to let them help you.
I need some help.
Could
you help me?
No, this does not mean you need to play damsel in distress.
It works.
But at the same time, let's see what he brings to the table. One of my male friends told me years ago, he's like, look, if a dude can't change a tire, you don't need to mess with him. That was his thing. He goes, if he cannot change a tire, if he can't figure out how to get you out of an emergency situation, then keep moving.
So
that's deep.
I have a story on changing the tire in me.
I can change the tire. Go ahead.
I can, but the way I found out I could, I'm in college.
Right.
I'm dating a girl in Virginia, and some girls from U of I are going to visit some friends at Hampton, and they knew, Kris, if you got a girlfriend, you want to ride with us? We'd like a guy to ride just in case anything happens. Car stops. I was like, yeah, I'll go. But it was a rental car. I'm like, what's gonna happen? So we took turns driving. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, you feel, boom, boom. They're like, Kris, get out. We got a flat tire. I'm like,
it's like slap, slap, slap.
I was like, I never changed the tire, but you figured it out. I figured it out. So I changed the tire, and it was actually everything. It was a rental car, so everything was right in the right place.
Yeah,
I didn't have to look for anything. And they were like, wow, we're so glad we came here. I'm like, yeah, I change these all the time.
Listen, my dad, when I learned to drive, right? When I learned to drive, before I could take the car anywhere, my father made me go through the exercise of changing the tire on his Cadillac.
That was good.
That was good.
Which, have you ever tried to remove the wheel cover of a Cadillac? Oh my God, it's like an act of Congress. So that was the kind of upbringing that I had. I had
That's
to.
awesome.
He was just like, you can't take this car anywhere.
Yeah.
I want to hear Chicken's answer to the
Chicken. Chicken, you say what?
We need to repeat the question. There we go.
How do you balance individuality when while in a relationship?
I'll let you know when I figure it out.
Okay. Well, that's good of you to.
I have found myself losing myself in relationships, and I am now trying to make sure that I remember who I am. So now when I meet people, I tell them up front what I like, and I'm myself, because I have the ability to be a chameleon or whatever, like I was raised under the term that, Eve was made for Adam. And so then, she, becomes the things in which that he needs and all that kind of stuff. So
sounds good to me.
Now if I'm dating, I make sure that I am, I'm myself. And so if it's something I don't like, I don't do. And if it's something I do like, I do. And I'll explain, I like this, I don't like that, don't do this, don't do that. And so before it was kind of like, well, like I told you before, I tell people up front, don't call me sexy. That's inappropriate, and I don't like it. As opposed to me just shrugging my shoulders and not saying anything. I tell you up front, hey, don't do that. I don't like it.
So let me challenge you on that one a little bit. So you're dating somebody, and he legit thinks you are sexy.
Don't tell her.
He calls you sexy.
Don't tell her.
And you're like. You're like, nah, bro.
Call her something else.
Yeah. Are you now? Does that kind of thaw after you're in a relationship, or you're just like across the board? No.
No. That's just in the beginning. Like I don't feel that it's appropriate to call me sexy if we haven't had sex. Like it's just give me another adjective. We haven't had sex before, so you should not be saying I'm fuckable. That's what it sounds like to me.
She may say sexy. Like, she would say stuff.
But I mean that's the inception of the male interest. Is my point. Like
that's okay.
You all both.
I mean that's fine. I just think that
you just don't say shit.
Right. If your vocabulary isn't strong enough.
So
I need some clarifying questions.
So because he calls you sexy, you think he's saying you're fuckable?
Well, isn't that what he's saying?
No.
She thinks it's too forward up front.
He could say beautiful.
I was doing the same thing. She broke this down.
Sexy without thinking that.
Yeah, we talked about this on a different show.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's how. I mean, if it triggers her, it triggers her.
You know what I mean?
That's
true.
We can't control. I mean, I was just trying to clarify.
We're just thinking of common sense. Like this is what we learned in school, right? In English, we learn root words, and the root word of sexy is sex. And what is sex? It's intercourse. It's freaking. It's fucking. So for you to say sexy, you're saying I'm fuckable. So that's just, English.
That's English 101. Okay, let me move to the next question. Okay.
I just wonder why you looked that up. I was going to say, you all seem like happy daters, though.
I am happy.
I just want folks to know that there are people out here dating who are
This
happy.
is the attitude. It's a positive attitude.
But I mean, there's some struggles, but I'm happy. You know
there's struggles in any relationship. Let's make no mistake. Married, single, exactly.
Yeah.
There's struggles everywhere. Make sure, read the next question after that. Go back to, because you're good at
We can go back.
Because Linda Anderson had a couple good questions about not being vulnerable too soon up front. But
okay, we're going to get into that get into that section in a second.
Cool.
Okay, but just foundationally, how can you avoid unnecessary drama or conflict early on in a relationship? Like how do you, okay, Kris wants to chime in.
I want to jump in on that.
Go for it, sir.
I don't know if this is true. I'm just guessing. It seems that in today's world, because we do have so much instant access to everything. I don't have to wait weeks to find out what's going on in Ukraine. Something can happen in Mexico. I see it right then. Somebody gets accused of something. It's not like, 50, 100 years ago. You got to wait till it comes out in the paper, and everything is instant. And I think because we're triggered by a lot of stuff. I can remember being in elementary school and high school. I didn't care I cared, but I wasn't like emotionally moved if the person I wanted to win for president or my parents didn't win if they didn't win.
Right. If
someone said they were pro-life or not pro-life, I just don't remember this much. Everyone being, it's like today's world is such that if someone doesn't think like I think, or people come at you. So I think part of, at least if you're single and dating, is just first going into everything with an open mind, saying, I'm just going to have fun, period. And let's not build up so many expectations. Does this person make me feel good?
Right.
Do I like being around this person? Do they like me? You know, if I like them, do they like me? And then you sort of build from there.
Right.
I think everyone has this
expectation.
Such long, if he's this, I'm not gonna. If he's that, I'm not gonna. If he's this, if she's that, if she says that, she's done. I just think we all need to take back and take a beat.
So you think that's going to be something that will avoid unnecessary conflict?
It's just going out saying, I've said it on this show, men and women. I usually just say women, but men and women. Well, I'm not going to say it's to men. They should relax. Go out and have fun. I think everyone's so wound up. If I go into a date wound up thinking that every woman's going to be like the girl who walked away from me at 14, I'm probably not going to put my best foot forward. Right?
Right.
A man has to figure out, I got to go into this next. I could get told no 100 times. I better go into girl one-on-one like, hey, how you doing? Kris. Because we know that women like a guy who's confident. So you can't go, here I go. Hi. You just can't do it.
Right.
We're sort of forced into that, but okay. I think in general, people just need to sort of relax and let go a little bit, but that takes to what Chicken says, realizing that maybe I had some stuff I'm dealing with. Let me learn me and deal with me.
Yeah, learn yourself before you go foisting that shit onto somebody else.
But the problem is a lot of people haven't learned themselves, and they're dumping that on.
They don't.
They're dumping it on the other person.
Yeah.
Which to me is a red flag. If you meet someone, and my test was always, if you ask them, if they talk about, everyone talks about their exes at some point, right?
No,
they do.
She did everything. She did. She was so nasty. You better be.
Well, okay, that's a red flag, right? Like if somebody, I used to ask guys all the time. I even asked my now husband, because everyone shits on their exes. Like, oh yeah, well they were this and they were that. Okay, and I always ask them, what's their perspective? Like, what would they say?
True.
Right? And if it's 100% from their perspective, that person fucked up, then that concerns me.
Especially if it's every person.
It takes two people to tank a relationship.
Especially
right?
if every person screwed up.
The common denominator, sir, is you.
Right,
exactly. It's
Good
to
point.
me, that means that there's not self-awareness, which will not bode well for you in that relationship.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to piggyback off of that. I had an initial red flag in a relationship.
Were you the red flag?
No.
Oh, okay.
I had.
And it was me waving.
So the person literally said every relationship I had it's always been the guy's fault.
Yeah, well,
she said that up front.
Nope. Yeah.
And I looked past it because I'm looking at.
Exactly. I told you, chicken. He was looking at the cheeks.
He was sexy.
He's looking at the cheeks.
Looking at the cheeks. Charisma.
You're like, I'm going to make this work.
Great personality. But it didn't hit me until later on in the relationship that I started seeing more red flags, and I started thinking about what she said. And I said, she said this up front, and that should have told me. That should have told me right then and there.
You've got to pay attention to the early.
Not to pursue.
And honestly, we all would be less bitter if we walked away versus spending months and years.
I'm not bitter. It was a learning lesson.
And you're spending months and years in relationships.
As long as you take the right thing from it. Because I always tell people, I used to always get accused of cutting bait very quickly.
That's smart.
My point is that why would I damage myself by being in a bad relationship? That means I'm cheating the next person by having too much exposure to some bullshit. So it's like you have to be mindful of the things people say early on because people will tell you who they are, and that's real. Like that's
and she did. That's
and
the
she
thing.
told you.
She told me,
and you were like,
was,
you were focused on the ass.
I was focused on the
See,
cheeks.
this is what I'm talking about.
Shout out to
So
Nate
you gotta
Turner.
be very quiet, careful. What is Nate saying? Hi,
Nate said sometimes being a victim is one's part of the demise in a relationship.
That's true.
That is.
That's true.
That's
She played the victim.
Yeah.
But sometimes the victim is the archetype of the person, and that's the person to avoid.
Right.
If you have a person where they're always the victim. Someone's doing something to them. Someone they didn't get a fair shot because something happened, and
that's what everybody. If you ever see a man, and he's saying, all the women are always doing this, or all women only want you for money, or all women cheat, I don't just avoid them. I'm saving you a headache.
Run,
and fellas,
run,
same
I don't
thing.
care how fine he is. I don't care. Keep it moving.
If someone says all this, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Run so fast in the opposite direction because
that overgeneralization stuff.
because you are their next story.
Right.
Definitely.
You know, you are their very next story.
And it's funny because I got phone calls. I was the next story.
You will always be the next story. And you know what?
Dewan, we heard you ain't shit.
I was the next story.
Exactly.
Right.
You
So
will
I was
end
the next
up.
story.
You will end up having to like work against your reputation.
You know, at this point, I really at
some point,
I don't care.
Right.
Well, I'm sure
you're like me.
Because I know who I am as a person.
There you go.
But so many things are left to misunderstanding because nobody wants to straighten shit out.
But the thing is, people are going to believe what they want to believe regardless.
And
I mean, I let people believe whatever they want to believe.
right,
I don't care.
you should know this.
People believe all kinds of shit
And
about me.
unfortunately, there's
It's
so
very
much,
entertaining.
there's so
But go
much
ahead.
trauma, and that misery loves company thing. If you see a successful person or persons, or a girl who's on trips or cute, look what there's gonna be some haters.
Right.
I don't care who you are. If you seem to be doing okay,
Nobody hates me, by the way. Nobody hates me, by the way. I'm everybody.
Somebody hates you,
Everybody
chicken.
loves me.
I mean,
everybody love the chicken.
I draw this. People are like,
Everybody
you
do
got
love
haters.
chicken. Everybody love chicken.
Everybody, well, you know what? I draw the distinction between people will say things like, "Oh, you have haters." I'm like, not in the sense of hater, right? Like if you how when people you hating on, that means that you admire somebody so much that you just hate them, right? Like I have people who hate me. I've earned it, right? But you know what I mean? Like, in certain cases, I have earned it. But yeah, like I don't really think I have haters like that.
Shout out to I want to shout out Ursula Harris, who complimented you earlier.
Go on, Ursula.
What did she say?
She said we have a king here.
Oh,
I knew that already.
Thank you.
I knew that already.
I appreciate that, Monarch.
But she said, and this is huge, and this speaks to someone's character. She says, I don't badmouth my ex-husband. He's still my children's father. He's an ex for a reason. And I'm not going to keep bashing him. I divorced him. He got the message. We are cool. I think if everybody approached their past relationships like that, everybody and their kids would be happier.
So I'm one of those that has always
I love that.
Always been private. Yeah. When it comes to breakups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Others might call that shady.
Well, I've never been the one that's going, hey, Chris, let me tell you about this person.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't even mention who's crazy. You just say they were crazy.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not mentioning no names.
So anybody who's ever he ain't even talked about.
I'm not saying no names. I'm not, but I have had people, and it's funny because Gina is a person that I was like cool with, that end up becoming friends with my ex. Okay. So is a female.
Okay.
Ends up trying to come tell me about myself because of what she said.
Right.
And I'm like, I've known you for 30 years.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden now,
they don't care.
Right. But you see what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden, somebody comes says something to you. Instead of you coming to me and saying, hey, what's the deal or what's happening? She ran with it. So that leads me to my point of what I said earlier. People are going to believe what they want to believe.
Absolutely.
So at some point, you just got to let it ride.
I used to care what people thought when I was younger, but now I just sort of do.
Why bother?
What I do. Chicken, you all right over there? What you doing?
Chicken's having a cocktail.
I'm ready.
I need.
She drinking.
You don't have no more ice.
No.
Oh no. Could you hand me the apple, the juice?
You want some juice?
Yeah, give me that.
He has to dilute his apple juice with what is this? With pineapple juice.
Yeah, I was drinking the other.
I've never seen juice and pineapple. Whatever. Anyway, so
you need.
Yeah, I just
keep going.
What were we saying? Okay, so and we got distracted. I don't like being distracted on these shows.
I think
okay.
what I wanted to say while y'all doing the juice and stuff, y'all, dummy it down in drinks. That's crazy. But anyway, I'm going back to the very beginning. You guys mentioned that communication is like the big thing. And so like I think that is like a very big key for all of this,
Yep.
like
You'll hear me talking
trying
about
to stop toxicity, trying to stop stuff like talking things through
You didn't bring
is very important. And I think the more people are upfront and stating stuff.
Oh Lord.
I think y'all can still hear me, right?
Yeah, we can still hear you. Keep going, chicken. I'm sorry. We've got a kerfuffle.
But yeah, I think the more people are upfront with regards to what's bothering them or what the issue is, I think it can it can alleviate a lot of issues.
So what
it can. You know what? I get accused of being too direct, right? That's always the accusation.
You know.
But here's the deal. I cut to the chase.
You do.
Like it's let's be real clear about stuff. And
even with a really nice co-host,
but here's the deal. I have boundaries, and my husband will tell you this. If I don't want to do it, I do not do it. Like I either say yes, or I say no, and that sounds like kind of rudimentary. But if I think I'm going to complain about it, I say no. Like that's the whole thing. If it's a yes, it's a hell yes. But if it's a no, it's an absolute the fuck not. So it depends on but that alleviates a lot of problems, and people kind of understand what they can come to you with and what they can't get away with. And I have in my dating life ruled out a lot of people because they knew that. And I've dated a lot. I dated a lot of nice guys, to be clear, in my dating world, and it just didn't work out for what usually because they wanted to have kids. But because I was like not about that life. But I dated a lot of nice guys, and I would recommend them. You know what I mean? Like we went on one date, and I'm just because they went on one date just because that we didn't get along doesn't mean they're not good for someone else. But you have to kind of you have to kind of sift through. What are the reasons? Well, I was the reason in a lot of cases, right? So you got to know who you are. Okay, can we get to the next question?
Yeah, can I shout out a couple of points and questions you brought up? Linda Anderson brought up an issue that I think comes up a lot, and I go back and forth on how I feel on it. She says, we were talking earlier, she says, however, when a woman has multiple degrees and is self-sufficient, why is she viewed as, I don't need a man?
So this is what I'm finding out too. A lot of women aren't as self-sufficient as they think they are.
Correct. So that was number one, was I was going to say.
But I wanted to go back to Chicken before.
Go ahead.
Chicken talked about communication, and what I'm finding too, a lot of people aren't used to communicating.
Absolutely not.
I'm an over communicator. I'm transparent. So I've dealt with a lot of women that aren't used to communicating.
Any form of communication,
on that
over communication.
Right.
One of my friends got the point. He's married. He's been married for a long time, successfully, and he said, I cracked the code. Like I feel like if I am over communicating, I'm communicating just about the right amount for my wife. So that's kind of how they conduct their relationship, which works, obviously.
And there's a difference between men and women, which I'm talking about.
There's a big difference.
I'll talk about near the end.
Yeah.
No, let's go back to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
no, that's fine. I just wanted to acknowledge some of the folks.
Yeah, what else? Okay,
so some of these, and this is what I've heard. I have a degree, Linda Anderson, if you're still around. My wife has 2 degrees, right? But women like her don't really tout that. I do, and I think that's most women. But I think there's a small faction of women. Mm-hmm. We've had them on the show. Not that they were trying to or doing anything malicious, but we were doing one of these shows. What do you bring to the relationship? Blah blah blah. And I've seen many a woman, and I hadn't dated these women, but the first thing asked on the show is,
degrees.
I got these degrees. I got these this. I got this that. And I kindly tell them, that's awesome for you. And even if you're with a guy. But for him to get to know you, to get to that point,
he doesn't care.
He doesn't.
He does not give
especially
a shit.
Especially the guys she was dating. These were some high achieving, high net worth dudes. They're not looking for you to carry them, And if you, and women should know this, if you have a certain man that needs that, you should wonder why.
Because he can't take care of himself.
That's my point.
That's
can't
right.
take care of himself.
So. It's a good thing to have. I never want women to think, as a person with 3 daughters, those degrees are awesome.
I mean, they're great if you.
They just don't aid in you landing somewhere.
Right. That's they're two different channels for the degrees.
Yeah. Is it icing on the cake? Yes, but that's not the cake.
No.
Yeah, I don't me personally don't need a woman to carry me.
Right.
I've been self-sufficient since I was probably like 17.
Gainfully employed, ladies. I mean, I know you're dating, but gainfully employed if it doesn't work.
Right, but like,
self-employed.
But the other issue for me is that I would look for a woman that I look for more affirmation.
Right.
The encouraging word. You know what I'm saying? That I don't need all that other stuff.
Right. Yeah. It just, women. I know women think, and women are forced to compete as men do in the corporate world, and sometimes it just doesn't translate as well.
It doesn't
in relationships.
It does not at all.
But it's still a good thing. I always say this because I see all these, videos. I've commented on videos. I've posted videos, but it's not the occupation. It's the person and how they sort of present it. Or, I don't know.
Okay, well, we've only got 12 minutes left. And so in this 12 minutes, I know you want to give some tips, but before you give your tips, let's do a roundtable.
Sure.
How can we be better partners to each other? How can we supplement each other as men and women and have positive, long-lasting relationships?
Cool.
Me.
Chicken, you say what? What does Chicken say? Chicken, what you got?
Chicken is always in a good mood. I've never seen her not in a good mood.
Love it.
So I think that one, we need to let people be themselves and accept that people can have their preferences, right? This whole body shaming and money shaming, height shaming, all of that ain't got nothing to do with what people want. What people want is what they want. I cannot be upset with a guy who wants a woman with big boobs. I don't have big boobs. I can't be upset with a man who wants a short girl. I'm not short. I can't be upset with those things. And just like he can't be upset with me because I don't want him too tall or because I want them to own their own property. I want what I want. People want what they want. Now, some people say, well, you need to have, what's that word? What's the word I'm trying to think of when you, compromise. You need to have compromises on certain things. People can compromise on what they want to compromise on.
True.
As long as we are allowing people to be themselves. I was dating a guy and he found out that I didn't like music, live music in small spaces. He was like, well, I don't think this is gonna work because I love that.
Specific.
That's okay. That is okay. I bring a lot to the table, but if what you don't like is something like that,
he was willing to end the whole relationship over that.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on
it's
how
not a relationship. See, that's what I'm trying to say.
But that's a problem.
I'm trying to tell you. These are not.
He needs to go to my man camp.
These are not relationships.
We're going to host the man camp.
Listen, Linda. These are not relationships. These are getting to know people. And when you get to know somebody and you realize that this is something in which they don't like, you don't like loud women. You know that up front. I'm loud. I can be loud. I curse. I use that language. You know that up front. So
you use that outside?
We know that we can be friends. We can be friends. We can not be or whatever. But these are the things in which that I bring to the table. As long as we're communicating what we want and what we don't want up front, it's okay. That communication is big, and let people be. It's okay. That's what I think the biggest thing is. We need to let people be. You want a big booty, BBL. I don't have it, and that is okay. And I'm not going to try to accommodate you because this is not something in which that I'm willing to do. Now, you want me to wear a little lipstick? I'll put a little red lipstick on. Y'all saw me with my lipstick on. I was on a date. Girl. Yes, that was me. You want me to get some nails done? I'll do that. But I'm not putting no eyelashes. I'm not putting no glue in weave. I'm not about to be getting no extras and I'm not about to do all of that. But some things I will compromise on.
Okay, so yeah, let people be who they are. Duan, you say what?
No, I like some of what she said. I have a problem with the dude because of small spaces.
I do too. That's
weird. I think at some point in relationships we all have to compromise on something.
Absolutely.
On some things.
Then let me.
So saying
devil's advocate you.
But saying that I can't date you because I like to listen to music in small spaces is crazy to me.
Well, okay. I'll devil's advocate you. Okay, because my husband and I spend a lot of time going out and listening to live music. It's one of the things we love to do together. Right. Now, if I didn't love to do that, then he'd either have to do it by himself or I'd hate it or he'd hate it, or so if it's a primary aspect of your relationship and it's the thing you love, you want someone to love it too.
No, I'm fine with that, but you don't have to love everything that I love.
No.
I love football, but my wife just
right. Okay,
you don't have to love everything.
You don't. But if it's a primary part of your, like in our case, it's a primary thing. Like we will actively seek it together, and it's fun for both of us, right? But if it's not. But it depends on how important it is to you. How heavily is it weighted?
They're varying degrees. I mean, if you're a professional dog walker and he's allergic to dogs,
that's a problem, right? Exactly. Like it depends on how. Like this is funny. I didn't like to date allergic guys. You know,
allergic.
Yeah, you know how people are just allergic to everything.
I can't be on the grass because I get allergies, or I can't be around this, and I can't breathe air.
Why the voice inflection? To whoever those guys are that went out with Gina B.
The nerd thing.
Whoever those guys are.
The fuck away from me.
Don't watch this show.
I didn't enjoy that because that means I can't be out in grass. I can't do, you know what I mean? Like there's this one guy, he ruined the whole experience because we were like going out to some outdoor like Ravinia or some shit. Well, I can't sit on the grass because I'll break into hives. And I was just like, okay, so you and I are primarily compatible.
For something like that, but I just think we get into this thing where we just put too many things that shouldn't be the catalyst for you pass up on good relationships. Potentially good relationships because of small things.
But it depends on how small it is to you.
And I get that, but I'm just
if you love to travel, to travel.
Reluctantly, she has a point.
Right? No,
here's why I say
she does.
Here's why I say she has a point.
He hates agreeing with me.
So there was a time I asked Gina B, and I've changed my mind. I asked Gina B on a different show, Chicken, you'll like this. I said if she wasn't married and met the perfect guy, she was dating him for a couple years. He looks good. She gets the butterflies after 2 years. You know, he's great around. He's funny. He's this. He's all those provider. 2 years in, she's like, this could be the one. And he says, I'm a conservative voter. I think I'm voting for Trump. Gina B said she would get rid of him. Now, for me, I don't love politics like that. If I met my dream woman, she could vote for whoever. That comes around once every 4 years.
Right.
But maybe politics means that much to somebody. So, and again, I thought she was crazy when she said it.
I don't want to have a whole 4 years of arguing with this person.
But you went 2 years and it didn't even come up. It just came up because it was an election.
People change.
I think more women will. I've heard more women echo this. Anyway, I don't hold it against you.
I mean, real talk though.
I would not throw away Miss Perfect because she voted for whoever.
But are they perfect though?
Nobody's
perfect.
But anybody I really, really wanted made me that happy. I really don't care who you vote for. I'm not even in the voting booth.
Isn't about the vote.
That would be the
about
thing
the
for me though. What you weigh the good with the bad. So if the good is outweighing the bad.
That's because,
remember,
and I'll get into this. That's because minimal.
I threw away Mr. Perfect because he didn't wash his hands before he ate. So
damn,
it happened.
That's nasty though.
That is nasty. I once not dated.
Is that trainable or not?
I once not dated a girl because.
But if he's been doing it this long, that's a problem.
I saw a girl spit one time like a dude outside.
I would have got rid of her too.
It was just.
There are lots of reasons why.
I just couldn't believe it. I can't even spit like that, man.
I would have got rid of her.
I didn't date a guy who talked about how sweaty his feet were.
Ugh.
I saw a woman one time leave the restroom door like open, talking to me.
Oh no. Nope.
I've been married 16 years. I'm like, close the door.
We are not bathroom people.
Close the door.
Get out of the bathroom, mom.
Now,
I know.
It's just me. It's me. It ain't every.
How long have y'all dated? How long were y'all dating?
Well, we're still. Look, in my case, we're still.
Well, the girl who left the door open.
So y'all leave the bathroom doors open?
No.
You don't?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely fucking
Some
not.
couples
There needs to be
that,
some
though.
mystery. I feel.
Now, I got a couple things I want to go.
And then
real
we gotta
quick.
go.
And then we gotta go. And this is some stuff, you know. I didn't come up with this. These are 3 C's in a relationship. We talked about a lot of them.
Yeah, we did.
I'll throw the website up on the final post of this. And I do check comments for folks. It's the 3 C's for deeper love and relationships. I won't go into them. The first one is chemistry. At the onset, you should like somebody.
There should be chemistry.
All right, but that will fade.
It will.
One day,
maybe not.
Well, one day I won't have these Hollywood good looks.
Maybe that has nothing to do with chemistry.
That's true. But it is an attraction.
It is.
2 is compatibility. Now, those are your values, right?
Right.
Your lifestyles. I want to raise children this way, but you don't want to raise children this way. And that's where you got to find a compromise. Religions. An atheist may not match up well with, a devout Muslim or something like that. But the last one is the one we've talked about mostly, is communication. I call it love. And this says, and I'll quote a little bit of this, in order to maintain a healthy, long-lasting relationship, communication is the key. It doesn't say it here, but I'll add healthy communication during conflict. See, we all communicate well when we're not upset. But some of us get upset and everything goes out the window. True. How you communicate during those times is a big difference why couples make it and some don't. Also, some differences between men and women. We are seeing that from some of these gender wars, that men and women don't function and feel and respond to the same way. Mm-mm. And here are some examples in the differences. And guys, take note of what I say about women. Women, take notes if you don't already know what I say about men. Women are all about their feelings. Men don't trust their feelings. Women connect emotionally with talking. Men talk to pass on data.
True.
Period.
Facts.
Right? Women have to feel good to do good. Men, ladies, have to do good to feel good. So it's something to letting him do something.
Facts.
We all know this. Women want to hear all about it. Men typically don't want to talk about it.
True.
Women need to feel connected to have sex. Men connect with sex. Okay. Women's happiness resides in the state of their relationships. All their relationships. Men happiness resides in their accomplishments and their ability to provide and protect their loved ones. So when a man wants to do something, it's always like, let him call. If you think you got a guy on the hook, call him up, ask him to change the say, I need help changing this tire. Can you check it? I think it's going low on air. Let some air out, ladies.
Yeah,
and keep doing it. He will start doing it, and all of a sudden he'll start checking on the tire without you even asking. He'll be trying to take your car to get fixed. It's how we're wired.
Right.
Women get depressed when they feel like all they do is give, but they don't get back.
That is depressing.
When men get depressed when they feel no one needs them.
True.
That seems like a yin and a yang there.
It all is.
So
understanding and sharing these differences is the first step to creating successful, long-lasting relationships, along with chemistry, compatibility. Communication is probably the most important dynamic, and least understood. So I thought that was helpful.
That's helpful. That's good.
Because I can see it on the gender war post, right?
Yeah, but it shouldn't be a war.
But I've seen, and I've done this. Men, including me, I'll see something and I was like, well, I want to add to this, so I disagree with this, or I'll put up a post on something that was relevant at some point in time, and I notice women will look at it, and if it triggered something, they'll start talking about something else that ain't even related to the post. And in return, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm sure I do.
You trigger a lot of women.
And the man that you want does. Hold on. The man that you want
I had a video. I'm not going to play it.
If you have a man who doesn't care what you do, you can drink Hennessy for breakfast and smoke weed.
He doesn't care about you.
He doesn't care about you.
He doesn't care about you. Right.
See, I see behavior that I know is detrimental. But my point is, the whole point was, I may put up something with data and facts. And I noticed, doesn't matter what those data and facts are. If they don't feel good about that topic, there is no truth. So they'll start.
Well, that's the definition of stupidity. I'm siding with you.
I know you are, but I'm siding with them.
Ignoring a fact.
And I know people don't see this, and I'm siding with them.
Okay, well, go
because
for it, sir.
I didn't take into account their past trauma, their past this. So what they'll do is, and I'm just noticing the communication difference. Well, where'd you get that source from? And I always tell them it doesn't matter.
They don't have it.
Because if I put the source up, you're going to discredit the source. Yeah. And it's just, you're going to keep shooting holes so you can find a way around it. And it's just the difference that men and women communicate differently. And I do think it's helpful if you do begin a relationship with somebody to understand their communication style. Right. That's all I'm saying. I'll still keep pissing people off because
You should.
Because that's who you are.
Because I'm fucking right and they're fucking wrong, and I'm trying to teach the ignorant.
Okay.
Kris the
All
Critic,
right,
goddamn.
before we get too far
Smartest
down that
motherfucker
rabbit
out
hole,
here when it comes to relationships.
let's thank our guests.
Oh, shout out to my mentor. We went to the same high school right here. He is a proud member. He and DJ. Let me send a shout out to Alpha Phi Alpha because they always give us some good guys on the show. Noops, I need y'all on the show. They talking garbage in the studio now. And we've even had some Omegas on the show. We've had Michael Allen came on the show. We had some Noops
Michael
on here.
Allen came on the show. We had some Noops. You can bring some more of your Noops.
I had to reach for that.
You can bring more Noops.
Chicken.
I like Noops.
Chicken, you are like a third host now. Thank you for being on the show. I owe you 2 bottles of wine.
Because it's her birthday for the next 27 days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But she answered. Chicken. No, seriously, Chicken. You answered the call today.
I applaud Chicken for her maturity.
I do. She's in Cabo. She's in Cabo San Lucas. She's about to get it in.
And you are scarily honest.
I love it.
I love it. And as always, the one who keeps me grounded, keeps my reputation in these streets intact.
I try.
I have 0 sense.
So
you know
hard.
what's funny about this? I've known you since high school, and I've known Gina since college.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
We went to the same school
DePaul.
for a little while.
Yep.
Yeah, smart people in here. That's what it is. That's why I felt so
You just
comfortable
met me
today.
in November.
You all right, Chicken?
Where'd you go to school, Chicken?
NIU.
Oh my God.
I loved NIU. I like going to this.
I'm sorry I did that.
I don't know a lot about
Hey,
NIU.
I got a lot of NIU.
My lady graduated from NIU. So
okay.
yeah.
My real school's in California, and then I was in DePaul for a little while.
And see, I don't even tell people that I went to college because I know my degrees don't really matter to men. So I don't even tell them.
It don't even matter. Then you
on
learn
that
it.
note-
You got this.
On that note.
Anyway.
All right, good people.
DJ, shout out to my producer. See you, Chicken. Enjoy your birthday. Thank you for
Deuces,
joining
my
us.
friend.
For all your birthdays.
And I'm going. Anybody who left questions, comments, I will be looking at them. Khalid Hankins, I see you, bro. His birthday's coming up.
His birthday's like tomorrow.
Is
No, it's Thursday.
I'm calling you after the show, Khalid. Peace and love, everybody. Nate, Linda, all Ursula, thank you all for joining the show. My wife, see y'all next week. Peace and love. Kris and Gina, we out of here like last year.
And I think of all the things, what you're doing. And in my head I paint a picture. Well, since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. But won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over?